If you're a beginner and watch this video to the end, I promise you, you'll get 1, 2, or maybe even 3 things of value that'll seriously help you avoid big financial headaches. When you're first starting out, there's usually not one simple way to quickly identify a hot potential investment property. Okay, here I am. You can see these older houses behind me. I'm in an older community inside Calgary. And here we have some newer homes in a new community. Now, if you were a newer investor, if you have to take a guess, do you think that these newer homes are better for renting out? Or are these older houses in this older community a better option? Regardless of where you live, one of the best things you can do so you can get quicker and quicker at identifying high potential properties is what I like to call deep learning. As you do more and more research, view more properties, run numbers and analyze properties, you'll start to get a better and better idea of what good properties are as soon as they pop up. Find a city you're interested in investing in. In this case right here, I have Calgary open right here. You don't want to just look at Calgary as a whole. Pick a few communities and learn them at a micro level. What you don't want to do is what some people do is, here's all of Calgary. I'm going to learn 15 or 20 communities from here. When you're first starting out, you don't know anything. That, in my opinion, is a mistake. Why? You're going to spread yourself way too thin. We only have a certain amount of time in a day. Now, once you've picked some neighborhoods that you're interested in, what you want to do is start looking at the pricing for detached, duplexes, townhouses, apartments. And again, if you've spoken to your mortgage broker, you'll get an idea of what type of property you're able to buy. That being said, as a rule of thumb, what I do tell people these days in this higher interest rate environment, what you do want to look for is a property where you can rent the upper and lower level separately to separate tenants. The reason for that is these days with the interest rates and how much your mortgage expense is going to cost, depending on your down payment, renting something out to just one family, the entire property to one family, you're probably not going to cover your expenses. So what you want to do is rent out separate up and down, which is usually going to be detached or duplexes. So now you've identified the neighborhoods you like and the type of properties that you can buy. This is where the deep learning comes into play. You want to look at property prices, look at property prices with different features, understand your monthly mortgage payments, understand your other monthly expenses, start learning about rents inside the community, look at rental competition within the communities. You want to look at the types of tenants in the community, look at schools, see what type of amenities are there, grocery, transit. And this is where it gets exciting, believe me, because what you'll start noticing is that when you're putting effort into something you want to buy into, what's going to happen is you're going to start understanding the community, and then you're going to start understanding property prices relative to their rents. And eventually, when certain properties come on the market, you'll have moments where everything clicks and you realize that this might be a good opportunity. I'm going to pretend to be a new investor who's looking for a rental property, and you can just follow along and see how some of it goes. And if you have any questions about any of this process, just leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to help. Now, let's say after my deep learning and / or working with my realtor, I decided in Calgary I want to buy a rental property in the community of Bennington Heights. And because I'm a very savvy and engaged new investor, I've also spoken with my mortgage broker, and I found out that, based on my price range and looking through Bennington, I'm probably going to be able to afford a duplex. So what I want to do is obviously come to filters. We'll go to residential, building type. We're going to do duplex, search. That'll narrow it down. I also want to find something that already has a suite in the basement because I want to rent the upper and lower level separately. And I don't want to build a suite after because it's not really my budget. And I don't really have an appetite as a new investor to start doing a bunch of constructions after buying. I just want to buy something that's ready to go. Okay, so let's scroll through some of these. Okay, I'll click this one. This property right here in Calgary, a duplex listed in Bennington for $539,000. The thing I liked about this one is that it already has a legal suite, it's got some updates, and it's within a price range that my hypothetical self can buy. In order to run numbers, I need to figure out what the rents are in Bennington, and I need to figure it out for main level and basement separately, the rents. What I don't want to do here is look at detached comparables and compare the rents for a detached for a duplex, because on a detached you can charge higher for rents. So I want to make sure I'm looking at duplexes to get an idea. Now I can use Rent Faster, I can use Facebook Marketplace, look at what listings around the area I'm looking at, look at my competition. You can also ask your realtor if you're using one, if he's familiar with the area and can give you an idea. On Rent Faster here, I can filter out main floor and basements in Bennington. Now keep in mind, for a lot of these listings here, some of these are not rented yet and they're just posted for rent. So some of these rents might be quite high. So what you want to do is see if you can find a sort of pattern, like this is how much 2-bedroom basements are charging for. This is how much 1-bedroom basement is charging for, etc., etc. For the main floor, I'm probably looking at $17 to $17.50 for the main floor. When I'm looking at the basements in Bennington here, I'm probably getting about $13.50. Now, one thing I do want to also stress is that you might be able to get more, but it's always better to be a little bit more conservative. I like to go in assuming lower numbers just in case. So if it ends up being those lower numbers, if my numbers work, at least I budgeted for the lower numbers and the numbers worked. So for this scenario, we're going to assume 1,700 main floor, 1,350 basement. Assuming I buy it at $530,000 at a 20% down payment with a 4.09% interest rate, 25-year mortgage, my mortgage payment will be about $2,251 per month. I need to get the total expenses now for the property so I can compare it to the rents I'm going to get. Now, I'm going to be charging the tenant's utilities, so I'm not going to include that as a expense for myself. So let's look at the expenses. Right over here, you can see $2,815 per year is the property tax. I want the monthly property tax, so I'm going to divide that by 12. Then I'm going to add that by the monthly mortgage, which I showed you, which was $2,251. So now I'm at $2,485. Let's add insurance. Insurance has definitely jumped up a lot this year in Calgary, especially if you're with TD Insurance. My God. I'm just going to go a bit higher in the insurance. You can get for cheaper than this, but let's just say $350 a month. So now I'm at $2,835. I also want to budget a little bit for maintenance. I know a lot of people don't budget this and they're just like, whenever the maintenance comes, I'll just do it. Let's just assume there's like a $100 per level maintenance thing. It might not ever end up being that, but let's just say now I'm at $3,035 per month for my expenses approximately. Now I had said before that the rents I was looking to collect was $1,700 for the main floor, tenant's going to pay utilities, plus $1,350 for basement, tenant pays utilities. So that's $3,050 per month. Obviously, I minus that by the expenses I got, and now I'm at about break even plus $15 in cash flow a month. Now in that scenario, I'm making a little bit of cash flow, and for some people that might be okay. Some people might want more cash flow. As a bare minimum, I always say at least try to break even. And I do know a lot of investors who, when they approach me, they're like, look, I just want to at least break even, let the tenant pay my mortgage, and let myself grow equity and appreciation over time. That could be your goal. If you want that, at least bare minimum, you should try breaking even. I hope you got some value from this video and learned a couple of things if you're a new investor who has never bought a property and doesn't really know much. If you have any questions, like I said, put them in the comment section down below. Or if you have any more really detailed questions about the Calgary market and want to reach out to me personally, you can always reach out to me, follow me on my social profiles, call me, email me, text me, message, whatever it is you want to do. We can set up an appointment, go over all your goals. Like the video if you like it. Hit subscribe for more content similar to this. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a nice week. Take care. Bye.